Hello, I'm Christopher Ferguson.
I am Ryan Mazzella.
I am Brendan Skrinars.
I am Davis Breesy.
We're 4-4 Not Found, and we're here to demonstrate our program for you. First, we're going to run through a few scenarios, the first of which is the Fred sign-up scenario, which is handled by Davis Breesy.
All right, so let's run through the sign up scenario. So if we go over to our JSON file, which contains all the users, we currently see some other users, but at the bottom, the key one is a person named Felicia Fredrickson. Um, and Felicia is signed into the system, and her username is F Fredrickson. Now, the scenario we're demonstrating here is of a different user or a different potential user named Fred Fredrickson. So Fred Fredrickson is Felicia's brother, and he wants to create an account here where he has his username as F Fredrickson. However, when he attempts to sign up to the program, he is rejected with that username because there is already a user, namely Felicia, who has that username in the system already. Therefore, he is prompted for a different username. So he eventually goes with F Fred, which can be seen on line 97 right there, and then he tries to sign up again. This time he should be accepted, and then he just logs out, and all is well there. All the data is saved back to the JSON file. So let's run that scenario now and observe the changes. So we can see the dialog there, and now let's go to users. Let's format it, and we see Fred Fredrickson with the username ffred. So we can see that his initial attempt to sign up did not work, and now he is under the second username, while Felicia is still above him. And that about does it for that scenario there. So I'll pass it off to Chris.
Yep. So next up is the writing a song scenario. If I go to our songs JSON file, we'll see that there are many songs here, but there isn't a song by me. So I want to change that. I'm going to go through and write a song. So just to describe what this method does, it logs in, and after that, I start creating a score. Before I can do that, I have to choose an instrument and a tempo. But after that, I create this empty score, Smoke on the Water, for this original song, and I have to fill it with measures before I can put anything in it. So I create a time signature, which is a rational number, and I add 4 measures of that time signature 4/4 to the score. Now we're ready to add notes to our piece. So I create a power chord shape, because all the chords in this song are power chords, and I put it in the first measure. And after that, I move the power chord using these methods shift string and transpose to generate all the chords of the piece across all the measures. And once that's done, I have to put the score in a song object before I can add it to the library. This gives it metadata like the title, the artist, and the genre. And after that, I actually call the facades adds on the library method. Then I play the song and log out. Next, someone else, Davis Breesy, logs in, and he's able to access the song from the facade because it's just another part of the song library. So let's demonstrate that now. There we go. The scenario completed successfully. I come over to songs here. You can see that there's a new song by Christopher Ferguson called Smoke on the Water. And that about does it for this scenario. Now on to Ryan Mazzella, who handled the playing a song scenario.
Okay, so for the playing a song scenario, our user wants to view all songs by a given artist and then select one to play and then export for easier reading. Starting on line 230, our user selects to our user enters James Jamerson to find songs for, which the program then searches for songs by that artist and returns a list of songs found by that artist. Our user then on line 238 chooses which song to play. That chosen song is then played, and after which is exported to a text file in a nice, easy to read format. For the sake of this demonstration, our song will be cut a little short, but in the full version, we would play the entire song. If you want to go play that now.
Yep.
Alright, so the song has been played, and then after the song concluded, it generated this text file in the root directory. This text file then shows the notes needed to play on each measure, and is much, much more human readable. Believe that is it for our scenarios, so now we will go to our UML.
Okay. I'm Brendan Skriners, and I'll just be giving a high-level overview of the UML and then diving into some of the code to explain what's going on. So you can see our UML is arranged similar to the example in the class. So we have our data constants at the top, then data loader and data writer, and then underneath this first row is going to be our list objects. So song list is going to be an array list of songs, playlist for playlists, user list for users, lesson list for lessons. And then each of these contains the objects below. So you'll see song list has the song object class underneath, where playlist list has playlist, user list has user, and lesson list has lesson right underneath music system facade. So each of these, the song, playlist, user, and lesson are our main object classes. So they'll each have a unique ID, a title, author, some examples for things that they have. And then you can see underneath user, we also have teacher. So teacher is going to be a type of user that also has classes and lessons. So classes is I would say a doubly nested array list of type user, and it is an array list of users. So it'll return the IDs of all the people in the class. And then the lessons is the lessons for the classes. On the left side, you can see some enumerations that we have, such as for instrument, key, and difficulty level. So these will all be for in song, which then takes in a score object, so it can tell you what instrument it is using, the difficulty level, so you can sort by beginner, advanced, or advanced, and then we have the key. We have our score object, which is what we actually use to play the songs, and then underneath score and to the right, we have all of our classes that help with creating a score and playing a score. So we have measure, which contains all of the chords that we need to play a song. That is how a score is broken up into measures. The chords are the collection of notes being played, and then they have the bar object, which puts the object on the bar. We have our rest object, and then the note, obviously, it is our class there. Then we have on the bottom right our note value and our pitch class, which are just two more enumerations for notes. Now let's jump into data writer and data loader. So we're going to start with data loader actually. So data loader is going to be our class that that is going to load the data in from the JSON files into the application. So we'll just look at get users. It's pretty standard for all of these. So it's just going to take in, it's going to create the array list of users, read in the data from using a data constant user file name. So if we jump over to our data constants class, we can see all of our data constants into our static final strings. And then those are going to be the paths to the JSON files at the top. So that's what data loader is going to read in. And so data loader is just going to read in the information from the JSON files. And then data writer is going to be our class that essentially saves all of it by overwriting it to the JSON files again. So if we go all the way back up to the top, we're going to see save users. So it's going to take in an array list of users, and then so basically what data writer does is data writer is going to take in the information that we loaded into the application from data loader, and then it is going to rewrite that information back out to the JSON file so that it has the updated information. So save users essentially converts the list of users into a JSON format and writes it back out using our data constant user file name. And then it calls the helper method getUserJSON to convert each individual user object into a JSON object. Now this is going to be pretty standard for users, teachers, playlists, and lessons. It's going to be all the same format. They all have a either get user JSON, get song JSON, etc. that helps make that individual, let's say, user object or lesson object into a JSON object. So this is basically going to use our data constants and some methods from each individual class to put it into a new JSON object that are all structured user details, song details, etc. And then it is going to return those so that we can then, in each main method for those, so either save songs, save lessons, it can then write it out back to the JSON file. And that's kind of just the high-level overview of our UML and then our main data writer and data loader classes.
Okay.
Okay.